He's been seen on CNBC, the Fox News Channel, and the Fox Business Channel. His articles can be found on MarketWatch, Seeking Alpha, TheStreet.com, and many other places. He's the author of the weekly Best Stocks Now newsletter and the inventor of the Best Stocks Now app. He's president of Gunderson Capital Management. Here is professional money manager, Bill Gunderson.
And welcome to the Tuesday morning live edition of the Best Stocks Now Radio Hour with professional money manager Bill Gunderson, president of Gunderson Capital Management, from the shores of the Wando River in beautiful Mount Pleasant, South Carolina. South Carolinians a little down today after Clemson losing last night to LSU, but I think in the end the better team won. LSU has one heck of a good team. Congratulations to the Tigers who beat the Tigers. Well, we've got a round of profit taking, it looks like. You know what? Sometimes when the market's down, there's really no reason. So we just say, that's profit taking. And there has been a lot of profits made here recently in the market, especially in the NASDAQ. Actually, the NASDAQ's starting to climb back right now. It was down 40 points just a minute ago. Now the NASDAQ's down just 27 points to 9,246. Still very, very lofty record numbers, especially yesterday. I want to say the NASDAQ hit a new all-time high. S&P down 6 points right now. That's a mere 0.2%. The S&P is at 3,282. The Dow is up 3. Whoopee, 28,910. Russell 2000 small cap index down 0.4%. Crude oil, which rallied after the skirmish with us and Iran, it's now backing down. It is up 17 cents today, $58.25 per barrel. Gold, which got some excitement last week, now it's back to just kind of blah again, down $3 per ounce, $15.47. And that all-important 10-year yield is at 1.82, a little rally in the bond market today. So welcome to the Best Stocks Now Radio Hour with Bill Gunderson, president of Gunderson Capital Management. Well, yeah, I'm just going to say a little bit of profit-taking in the market today. We had an unbelievable day in the market yesterday. I can't believe some of these best stocks now that I talk about all the time, and I own them, don't forget. I do eat my own cooking. I practice what I preach. They were just on fire. Lululemon had an unbelievable day yesterday, breaking out to new all-time highs. Alibaba had a terrific day yesterday. Breaking out to new highs. MasterCard, unbelievable. I think it's $316 per share now. One of the great stocks of all time. Shopify, sizzling yesterday. And the list goes on. But I mention those four in particular because I've got recent articles out there on seekingalpha.com. And, they hold you accountable there when you look up an article like, let's say you go to Bill Gunderson's article on Alibaba, which we upgraded to a strong buy several months ago. It shows the price of the stock at the time of the publication of our article, and it also shows you where the market was at that time. And then it compares. Did the stock that you wrote about, has it beat the market? Has it delivered alpha? Alpha is the difference between the performance of a stock, the performance of a market. We're all seeking alpha, aren't we? With a high degree of safety at the same time. Well, those four stocks have delivered some big alpha, and it's helped me move up in the rankings of the bloggers in America. I'm in the top 4.7% now of all stock bloggers. And as far as experts go, I'm in the top 8.8%. Well, we've got some economic reports out today. Well, no, first of all, we've got a few other things here. The first thing is the global markets. while you slept. Japan was up 0.7% last night. China was down 0.3%. Europe was basically flat. Consumer price index. Now that's a key, critical, very critical monthly indicator that comes out. And we know that the Fed has said that they are really going to watch the CPI index as for their next move on interest rates. Well, it would seem that they got to be pretty happy and not too anxious to do anything today with a fairly benign CPI. In fact, it came in less than expected. December CPI 0.2. What was expected? 0.3. What's the annual inflation rate? That cash in your mattress is being eaten by those inflation termites every night. Can you hear them nibbling away? 2.3% is what the annual inflation rate has been. Nothing like the 16% that we had during the Jimmy Carter years, when Gerald Ford came in with his badge, whip inflation now. We also had a severe inflation problem back at that point in time. But right now, very benign, 2.3% CPI index. And I think the Fed should at least not to be too worried about inflation rearing its ugly head. You know what? I think online retail, I don't think that Macy's can get away with the big markups, on their coats and on their designer dresses like they used to. And I think overhead has gone down, obviously, for a lot of retailers who now only sell online. I think that's had a lot to do with tamping down inflation. And I think also, obviously, the cheaper goods coming from China and Vietnam and some of these other countries at very low prices have also helped keep inflation low, but it does remain at 2.3% annual. Now, here's the bad news, okay? The good news is that we're paying a very low interest rate on our debt. What is our debt? Now, this is the really, really, really worrisome news, okay? U.S. budget deficit topped $1 trillion in 2019. Now, this is just a 12-month period of time. In other words, we spent $1 trillion more than we took in. We basically take in about $3.5 trillion in tax dollars and other types of income, but we spent $4 trillion last year. The average family can't get away with that. But our friends in Congress can, and they've gotten away with it for many years now. In fact, that deficit has now grown. It's now called, now we move to the national debt, okay? The deficit is an annual figure. The national debt is a summary of many years of this going on, the chicanery. We've got a $23.2 trillion credit card debt right now. And obviously, if interest rates started to head higher, think of the interest that we'd be paying. If we went up to 6, 7, 8% in interest rates, the long-term average is in the 5 to 6 area. Think what our interest payments would be. Well, you know what? They just sweep it under the rug for now. But here's something to worry about when you lay your head down on your pillow tonight. $23.2 trillion. Now, they want us to be worried about sustainability in a non-carbon world and sustainable fisheries and sustainable this and sustainable that, local farms, buy local. And yet the government themselves, they're not setting a very good example. They've got the most unsustainable mess going on. And those chickens will come home to roost at some point in time. To the tune of $23.2 trillion now is our national debt. Well, CEO Larry Fink of BlackRock, pretty influential guy, he, in his annual letter, seemed to really be focused on climate change. He says we need to be mindful of the economic, scientific, social, and political realities of the energy transition. Governments and the private sector must work together to pursue a transition that is both fair and just. Okay, these are buzzwords in today's world. Everything's got to be fair and just. Well, is it fair that we got a $23 trillion debt, Congress? Who's responsible for that? Anyways, we cannot leave behind parts of society or entire countries in developing markets as we pursue the path to a low-carbon world. That was his message to shareholders. And Larry Fink is the founding member of the Task Force on Climate-Related Financial Disclosures. In fact, he says that companies that don't look after the climate will eventually be shut out from being able to get capital. When we come back, what's the hottest stock in the market right now? And it continues today. We'll be right back. This is Bill Gunderson. It's the Best Stocks Now Radio Hour.
Are you a die-hard do-it-yourself investor? Bill Gunderson makes the tools that he developed to professionally manage money available to you. I invented the Best Stocks Now app, which gives you relative performance, valuations where possible, and my proprietary ranking on almost 5,000 stocks, mutual funds, and ETFs. The cost is $9.99 per month. And if you want to see all my live trades in all 4 portfolios, you can subscribe for $89 per month. Visit my website at gundersoncapital.com. That's gundersoncapital.com.
This is Paul Carlson, co-portfolio manager at Gunderson Capital Management. I am excited to join Bill and the rest of the team here at Gunderson Capital Management as I bring more than 30 years' experience in the investment industry with a focus on bonds and fixed income. I look forward to helping clients that are in or near retirement transition their portfolio to a more stable portfolio with higher income generation. For this purpose, we have developed a bond portfolio named Best Bonds Now, which is based from the app Best Stocks Now. To learn more, go to GundersonCapitalManagement.com. This is Paul Carlson, co-portfolio manager, here to talk about a new Safer Money portfolio that we now offer. It is a portfolio of about 10 individual bonds that come over from our Best Stocks Now list. Overall, this portfolio has a current annual yield of just over 4%, and you will get your principal back if you hold these bonds until maturity, provided the company does not default. There is also opportunity for capital appreciation on these bonds if interest rates fall or if the credit rating improves. We will be able to capitalize on these credit changes and interest rate fluctuations. This means we'll be actively managing this individual bond portfolio along the way and be looking to take profits if the opportunity presents itself. The management fees on this new portfolio are low, and so is the volatility. Looking for professionally managed safe money that offers liquidity and no commissions to get in? Then you've come to the right place. Give us a call at 855-611-BEST or visit our website at GundersonCapital.com.
There's a child sitting on a hard metal chair, clutching tightly to the trash bag that holds everything she owns. She's there because her father abuses her, and her mother doesn't care. There are people all around her, but she's never been more alone. A social worker tells her not to worry, that they'll find a place for her soon, as she dials yet another number, this time to a group home, and then a shelter, and then a temporary housing facility. If she called you, would you make a place for this child? The Bear Foundation is a Christian foster care ministry, and our homes and families are made up of people just like you who, when called, answered yes. This is your call. Right now, there's a child or teen who's wondering, where am I going to live? Who will take care of me? You have the answer. Call the Bear Foundation today. For more information about Christian foster care, call 1-866-265-2476, 866-265-2476, or visit christianfostercare.org.
My name is Barry Kite, and as the newest member of the Gunderson Capital Management team, I wanted to introduce myself. As a seasoned financial planning practitioner and chartered financial analyst, I joined Gunderson Capital to assist clients with complex financial planning needs and portfolio construction strategy. Over the last 20 years, I've refined my holistic approach to planning and portfolio construction with a focus on ensuring all of your investment assets are working for you in tandem towards a common financial goal. All too often, clients have a financial advisor who is only concerned with the specific assets you have tasked them to manage, with no regard for the purpose of your other investment accounts. Our approach takes all of your investment accounts into consideration when developing your personalized portfolio strategy. Whether you're retired, quickly approaching retirement, or still in the accumulation phase, Gunderson Capital Management is here to navigate the inherent risks of the market while helping you meet your financial goals. If you hadn't had a financial review in a while, or you would like a second opinion, I encourage you to give me a call at 855-611-BEST. That's 855-611-2378.
Second quarter of the Best Stocks Now radio. Well, back in March of 2014, I put out an article, and I took a lot of criticism at the time for that article. I published, Tesla at the time was trading at $256 per share. And the headline of my article was Tesla 5-year target price $465. I had 86 comments on that article. I quoted Gandhi at the beginning of the article for his famous quote about ideas and people whose time have come. Gandhi said, first they ignore you, then they laugh at you, then they fight you, then you win. Well, I think you could look at these short sellers that have picked on Elon Musk. At first, I remember when Tesla was really ignored. It was like, you know what? This is a pipe dream. Who is this guy trying to break into the automobile industry? And then, of course, they laughed at him, right? Just by shorting a stock, it's like, in your face, pal. I think your stock is going down. Then they fight you, which they have. The SEC has fought him. The short sellers have fought him. There's been lawsuits. And then you win. I guess you could say Elon has won. At least for now, he's winning. The price at the time I published the article back in March 5th, 2014, $256 per share. Where is it today? $537 per share. Since I wrote about it, the stock is up 109%. Now, I was just using my valuations that are numbers-based. It's based on earnings per share, and it's based on the expected 5-year growth rate going forward, and a multiple that I think is appropriate. Well, the stock's up 109% since then. The S&P is up 75% since then. So I did deliver some alpha with that article, a heaping dose of alpha, on the website Seeking Alpha. And I apply those same characteristics and those same valuation formulas to my recent articles. And we had just some sizzling stocks yesterday, and I've made some pretty bold calls recently about stocks that I think can double again after they've been some of the biggest winners in the market. Well, it's just based on numbers. It's based on math and formulas. So you can always check out my stable of articles there on seekingalpha.com and to see how I've done. I think, if anything, it's a testament to the Best Stocks Now ranking system, which takes into account valuation, very important, but number two, momentum. That's also very important. I don't like momentum without value, and I don't like value without momentum. I like my peanut butter with my chocolate. Well, anyways, we're getting more upgrades now. Jefferies boosts the target price on Tesla from $400 to $600. Look at this chart today. Before I went to a break, I said, you know what? It's within $4 billion now of being a $100 billion market cap. No automobile manufacturer in the history of man has been above $100 billion. In fact, Tesla is currently the largest market cap for any automaker. Now, what is my target price today? You know what? I keep waiting for it to cool down a little bit, and it doesn't. My target price today, maybe I should write an article on this, $1,050. $1,050. That's a 5-year target price that I have out there published in my app on Tesla, TSLA, which has just got to be crushing the short sellers. There's no worse feeling than to short a stock, which I don't do very often, and then have the stock go up every single day. When I was in the business very early on, the golf stocks were on fire. Callaway, Titleist, several of Aldila, several of Cobra Golf in particular. And there was a guy that I worked with at one of the firms I was with in my early days. He shorted Cobra Golf for his biggest client. That stock went up $8, $10, $12 per share every single day. One day this guy didn't show up to work. I never saw him again. It ran him right out of the business, being wrong about shorting a stock that eventually got bought out for a real lofty price. Well, Amazon is still smarting over that Jedi contract that they lost to Microsoft. They think there were shenanigans at the top. Bezos, obviously the owner of the Washington Post. Trump, he claims, had something to do with choosing Microsoft over Amazon. And he's still fighting mad. Amazon has filed a motion for a temporary restraining order to block Microsoft from working on a $10 billion cloud contract from the Pentagon. A federal court will issue its decision on February 11th. Amazon has blamed President Trump of exerting improper pressure and bias in awarding the Jedi contract, which is part of a broader digital modernization efforts of the DoD system. How's Amazon stock? It's been pretty good here recently. A lot of antitrust concerns over Amazon, however. It's actually kind of backing off here. It's down $22 per share today. Well, should Apple cooperate? Okay, you had that shooting. Was it down in Florida? Yeah, the Navy base in Pensacola, where the soldiers were shot by an Islamist radical that was there training with the Saudi Army. U.S. Attorney William Barr says Apple has not helped the FBI unlock the iPhone used by the alleged shooter at the Navy base in Florida. Now, you know, they went through this before with the shooter out in Riverside that shot up the hospital, killed many. Apple has always Steve Jobs was very much a protector of privacy, very much a libertarian, and I would say that Tim Cook is also a libertarian. What do you think? Well, you know, I have subscribers to my app through the Apple iTunes store, where it remains one of the top-selling apps in the financial sector, and my employees are always saying, hey, how come we don't get the email address of the people? We could send them, you know, other stuff, announcements of when we're going to appear in certain areas. I said, you're never going to get, if Apple's not going to give the FBI a mass shooter's information, we're certainly not going to get any contact information on any of those folks that subscribe to my Apple Best Stocks Now app, the Apple version. Anyways, Apple says, you know what? We're not going to do it. So, anyways, when we come back, there's a lot of individual stocks. That's what I like to talk about. The name of the show is Best Stocks Now. We'll talk about some when we come back. This is Bill Gunderson, CEO and Chief Investment Officer at Gunderson Capital Management. During my career in the industry, I've talked with thousands of investors. Everyone has their own unique level of risk, tolerance, and objectives for their investments. On the one hand, they all know that they need either income or growth, but they have no specific plan to achieve it. That is why we have developed 4 different custom portfolios that address these issues. Having all your money in cash may be a good sleep-at-night solution, but you're losing out to the inflation termites daily. The next step up on the risk ladder would be holding an individual bond portfolio. The next rung up from that would be our dividend and growth portfolio. This portfolio is made up of high-quality stocks that pay a dividend or still growing their earnings. From there, we have our Premier and Ultra Growth portfolios. These are custom designed and meticulously managed to give you the opportunity for growth during your accumulation years. To talk to us about a custom design, you can call us at 855-611-BEST or visit our website at gundersoncapital.com.
My name is Barry Kite, and as the newest member of the Gunderson Capital Management team, I wanted to introduce myself. As a seasoned financial planning practitioner and chartered financial analyst, I joined Gunderson Capital to assist clients with complex financial planning needs and portfolio construction strategy. Over the last 20 years, I have refined my holistic approach to planning and portfolio construction with a focus on ensuring all of your investment assets are working for you in tandem towards a common financial goal. All too often, clients have a financial advisor who is only concerned with the specific assets you have tasked them to manage, with no regard for the purpose of your other investment accounts. Our approach takes all of your investment accounts into consideration when developing your personalized portfolio strategy. Whether you're retired, quickly approaching retirement, or still in the accumulation phase, Gunderson Capital Management is here to navigate the inherent risks of the market while helping you meet your financial goals. If you hadn't had a financial review in a while, or you would like a second opinion, I encourage you to give me a call at 855-611-BEST. That's 855-611-2378.
This is Paul Carlson, co-portfolio manager at Gunderson Capital Management. I am excited to join Bill and the rest of the team here at Gunderson Capital Management as I bring more than 30 years' experience in the investment industry with a focus on bonds and fixed income. I look forward to helping clients that are in or near retirement transition their portfolio to a more stable portfolio with higher income generation. For this purpose, we have developed a bond portfolio named Best Bonds Now, which is based from the app Best Stocks Now. To learn more, go to GundersonCapitalManagement.com.
Are you a die-hard do-it-yourself investor? Bill Gunderson makes the tools that he developed to professionally manage money available to you. I invented the Best Stocks Now app, which gives you relative performance, valuations where possible, and my proprietary ranking on almost 5,000 stocks, mutual funds, and ETFs. The cost is $9.99 per month. And if you want to see all my live trades in all 4 portfolios, you can subscribe for $89 per month. Visit my website at GundersonCapital.com. That's GundersonCapital.com.
This is Paul Carlson, co-portfolio manager, here to talk about a new Safer Money portfolio that we now offer. It is a portfolio of about 10 individual bonds that come over from our Best Stocks Now list. Overall, this portfolio has a current annual yield of just over 4%, and you will get your principal back if you hold these bonds until maturity, provided the company does not default. There is also opportunity for capital appreciation on these bonds if interest rates fall or if the credit rating improves. We will be able to capitalize on these credit changes and interest rate fluctuations. This means we'll be actively managing this individual bond portfolio along the way and be looking to take profits if the opportunity presents itself. The management fees on this new portfolio are low, and so is the volatility. Looking for professionally managed safe money that offers liquidity and no commissions to get in? Then you've come to the right place. Give us a call at 855-611-BEST or visit our website at GundersonCapital.com.
There's a child sitting on a hard metal chair, clutching tightly to the trash bag that holds everything she owns. She's there because her father abuses her, and her mother doesn't care. There are people all around her, but she's never been more alone. A social worker tells her not to worry, that they'll find a place for her soon, as she dials yet another number, this time to a group home, and then a shelter, and then a temporary housing facility. If she called you, would you make a place for this child? The Bear Foundation is a Christian foster care ministry, and our homes and families are made up of people just like you who, when called, answered yes. This is your call. Right now, there's a child or teen who's wondering, where am I going to live? Who will take care of me? You have the answer. Call the Bear Foundation today.
For more information about Christian foster care, call 1-866-265-2476, 866-265-2476, or visit christianfostercare.org.
Welcome back here to the second half of the Best Stocks. You know, one of the hallmarks of a bull market and a bias towards bullishness, look at the market, how it's come back since we started the show. When I started the show, the NASDAQ was down 47 points. Now it's down just 7 points. We're getting ready to go positive here. Yesterday we had one of our biggest days in a long, long time in the market. The Dow is now up 38 points. So dips being bought, okay? That's a hallmark of a market that wants to continue to go higher. And I got to believe that the inflation news, the lack thereof, inflation is helping the market somewhat today. I wouldn't think that the Fed would be looking to hike interest rates here anytime soon. Well, let's see here. A lot of fun stuff. Look at this one. Okay, Apple gets a new street high target on 5G, which will come later this year, about November. Is the thought that Apple will have some 5G phones out there. D.A. Davidson raises Apple target from 300 to 375. Now, my most recent article on Apple was back on July 31st of last year. At the time, Apple was trading at $213.90. What did my headline say? Apple is one of my current favorites in my dividend portfolio, which only had 17 stocks in it at the time. And I said that one of those 17 stocks in my dividend portfolio was Apple, and that is still one of my favorites. Well, since July 31st, Apple is up 48%. Can you believe that? I mean, here's a $1 trillion company. It was under $1 trillion at the time I wrote the article. But the stock of Apple is up 48% since the article was published. S&P during that same period of time, 10.2%. That's some serious alpha delivered on not exactly an under-the-radar stock, probably one of the most recognizable stocks in the world, but when the valuation screams buy, what else can you do? What's my target price currently on Apple? Well, D.A. Davidson, they have a $375 target price. I go out 5 years. I match up the analyst consensus 5-year growth rate with the target price. That just makes sense to me. My target price on Apple is $486 per share. And it's currently trading at 300, and it hit a new all-time high yesterday, $317 per share. Apple just went positive. It's now up 12 cents. It's now a $1.4 trillion market cap company. You know, I don't know what to quite read into this, but I'm thinking that Google may be starting to get into the online retail business, like Shopify and Amazon. Google has acquired Irish retail tech company Pointly for undisclosed terms. Pointly lets smaller merchants list their products for sale online without needing a full e-commerce system. You know, that sounds very, very similar to what Shopify is doing. Sounds like Google's not going to acquire Shopify. They could have a ready-made turnkey product there. Instead, they're going after a smaller company named Pointly in Ireland. But I just think that that's interesting to watch Alphabet, also known as Google, getting into the online shopping space. Now, there's been many other attempts to get into a red-hot industry, but if you're late to the game, you're late to the game. Google, fortunately, was early to the game of internet search, and many have tried to compete with them in that internet search game because it's so lucrative for the advertising dollars. For instance, Microsoft has their Bing search engine. When was the last time you Binged anything? Not me. I Google it. Google is my search engine of choice. Google has become a verb in our alphabet in today's day and age. Why don't you go Google it? I used to have to my mom or go to the Encyclopedia Britannica, which was never updated. You know, I mean, it sat on my shelves. My little brother read the Encyclopedia Britannica. It was passed on to me. I suppose one day the encyclopedia guy showed up at our front door, and my mom, in a weak moment, bought a, the encyclopedia. I still remember that on my book. It made me look smart. It was in my bedroom. It was on a shelf. I did refer to it from time to time, to reports. Think how far we've come since the Encyclopedia Britannica to Wikipedia, where you can wiki almost anything and find a whole story about it. Well, anyways, let's keep our eye on Alphabet. It's one of those FANG stocks. Okay, some of Boeing's suppliers are getting their debt downgraded. Now, I bring that up because we have a bond fund, obviously, that's done very, very well. It was up double digits last year. We look at stocks that are very, very strong. We choose, bonds that come from very strong companies. And we've been lucky to get several upgrades to our debt. You don't want to be on the other end of that equation. A lot of these stocks related to Boeing, and Boeing itself is getting its debt downgraded. Can JCPenney survive? I don't know. You know, my wife and I were driving through a mall last night, an open-air mall, and I was pointing out some of the names to her. I said, I don't know if they're going to be around much longer. We passed a Pier 1 Imports, which is pretty much on the ropes. We passed a Bed Bath & Beyond, which is having its struggles. We passed a Lululemon. I said, for whatever reason, they have got their following. They've got their folks that follow them, and that is still one of the great retailer stocks in America. JCPenney is now 79 cents per share. 79 cents per share. I remember going to JCPenney. My mother, the worst phrase you could hear towards about August, late August, we need to go back to school. The back to school sales, we need to get you outfitted for school this year. Oh, that was not a good thing when you're 14 years old and you're playing baseball every day and going to the beach, and all of a sudden mom's telling you got to go to JCPenney's. They may not have too many more back to school sales. 79 cents. Can you believe that? Now, I've told the story many times of a little stock in Corona, California by the name of Hanson's Natural Sodas. Well, California is home to natural juices and organic this and organic that and lettuce, tofu wraps and the rest. But there was a little company, it was publicly traded, Hanson's Natural Sodas, and the dad delivered organic juices around town and made a little business of it. But when the boys came along, well, what does Emerald say? They kicked it up a notch. They turned Dad's company into Monster Beverage Company and have juiced America. Listen to some of these products. Barron's profiled Monster Beverage, which is one of the biggest winners in the stock market of all time. If you go back to when Hanson's Natural Sodas was like a $1 stock, little micro cap. Now you got Monster Beverage, MNST, which I do not own at the current time, but I have owned it in the past. It is now a $35 billion company. Here's why Barron's likes it. Okay, look at some of these drinks they now have. New products, okay? Java Monster Triple Shot. Oh, boy. What does that do to your arteries? Rain Inferno. Is that what our kids are drinking before they go to high school? Rain Inferno? Can you pass me one of those Rain Infernos? NOS Full Throttle. No, I've drank that before. Not too often, but I have. Burn. There's one called Burn. That's a good one. These are healthy, I'm sure, for you. And the last one they like is Mother, which is helping Monster take the market share back from Bang. Okay, did you switch from Monster to Bang? Well, now you can come back to Monster because they've got these new brands. All right, GameStop. Holy cow, have I talked about that one? That's another one. I had a short position in GameStop for a while, and then it started going against the tide, and I covered it. I made some money on it, and now here we go again. GameStop getting whacked today. I say it's doomed. I do. I say it's a doomed company. Maybe Pier 1 Imports should merge with them or something, but they're both doomed. When we come back, we'll do our featured stock of the day. This is Bill Gunderson.
This is Bill Gunderson, Professional Money Manager and Chief Investment Officer at Gunderson Capital Management. Many of my listeners are still in the accumulation phase of their lives. They continue to contribute to their retirement or savings accounts. Along with their contributions, they still need for their portfolios to grow. They need to be in the best asset classes for growth now. They don't have time to miss 9-year bull markets or be in the wrong places. I manage both an aggressive growth and a conservative growth portfolio for these folks. It seeks out the best growth stocks that I can find at any given point in time. These portfolios are carefully tended to by me on a daily basis. These two portfolios are also unconstrained. They are active, not passive. They can go anywhere in the world to find the best growth opportunities. At times, they may be in cash or have some inverse hedges if I think that the market is too expensive or the economy is headed into recession. Is your main objective still accumulation or growth? I'm on it. Contact us at GundersonCapital.com or call us at 855-611-BEST.
There's a child sitting on a hard metal chair, clutching tightly to the trash bag that holds everything she owns. She's there because her father abuses her, and her mother doesn't care. There are people all around her, but she's never been more alone. A social worker tells her not to worry, that they'll find a place for her soon, as she dials yet another number, this time to a group home, and then a shelter, and then a temporary housing facility. If she called you, would you make a place for this child? The Bear Foundation is a Christian foster care ministry, and our homes and families are made up of people just like you who, when called, answered yes. This is your call. Right now, there's a child or teen who's wondering, where am I going to live? Who will take care of me? You have the answer. Call the Bear Foundation today.
For more information about Christian foster care, call 1-866-265-2476, 866-265-2476, or visit christianfostercare.org.
This is Paul Carlson, co-portfolio manager, here to talk about a new Safer Money portfolio that we now offer. It is a portfolio of about 10 individual bonds that come over from our Best Stocks Now list. Overall, this portfolio has a current annual yield of just over 4%, and you will get your principal back if you hold these bonds until maturity, provided the company does not default. There is also opportunity for capital appreciation on these bonds if interest rates fall or if the credit rating improves. We will be able to capitalize on these credit changes and interest rate fluctuations. This means we'll be actively managing this individual bond portfolio along the way and be looking to take profits if the opportunity presents itself. The management fees on this new portfolio are low, and so is the volatility. Looking for professionally managed safe money that offers liquidity and no commissions to get in? Then you've come to the right place. Give us a call at 855-611-BEST or visit our website at GundersonCapital.com.
My name is Barry Kite, and as the newest member of the Gunderson Capital Management team, I wanted to introduce myself. As a seasoned financial planning practitioner and chartered financial analyst, I joined Gunderson Capital to assist clients with complex financial planning needs and portfolio construction strategy. Over the last 20 years, I have refined my holistic approach to planning and portfolio construction with a focus on ensuring all of your investment assets are working for you in tandem towards a common financial goal. All too often, clients have a financial advisor who is only concerned with the specific assets you have tasked them to manage, with no regard for the purpose of your other investment accounts. Our approach takes all of your investment accounts into consideration when developing your personalized portfolio strategy. Whether you're retired, quickly approaching retirement, or still in the accumulation phase, Gunderson Capital Management is here to navigate the inherent risks of the market while helping you meet your financial goals. If you hadn't had a financial review in a while, or you would like a second opinion, I encourage you to give me a call at 855-611-BEST. That's 855-611-2378.
This is Bill Gunderson, CEO and Chief Investment Officer at Gunderson Capital Management. During my career in the industry, I've talked with thousands of investors. Everyone has their own unique level of risk, tolerance, and objectives for their investments. On the one hand, they all know that they need either income or growth, but they have no specific plan to achieve it. That is why we have developed 4 different custom portfolios that address these issues. Having all your money in cash may be a good sleep-at-night solution, but you're losing out to the inflation termites daily. The next step up on the risk ladder would be holding an individual bond portfolio. The next rung up from that would be our dividend and growth portfolio. This portfolio is made up of high-quality stocks that pay a dividend or still growing their earnings. From there, we have our premier and ultra growth portfolios. These are custom designed and meticulously managed to give you the opportunity for growth during your accumulation years. To talk to us about a custom design, you can call us at 855-611-BEST or visit our website at gundersoncapital.com. And welcome back here to the final segment of the Best Stocks Now Radio Hour. I'm going to feature a stock here in a moment in this last segment of the show that's trying to eradicate the flu, influenza, from our world. Would the world be a better place without the flu? I think so, without question. It's an Israeli biotech company that you might have heard of, you might not have heard of it. But it's a red-hot biotech stock. I found it using my Best Stocks Now app. It showed up in the A-plus momentum list not too long ago, and I looked into what they were doing several months ago. And I'll give you a little update on that in a moment. Boy, I'll tell you what, at the beginning of the year, towards the end of last year, I offered out 2 free weeks of my live trading service and my Full Monty newsletter, which I send out every Saturday morning, afternoon, and my live trading alerts during the week. I'm getting ready to put on my duck waders and my Polaroid glasses. I got my fly fishing rod. We're going to wade out into the waters of the market today. Sometimes we're neck deep. And we're going to see what we can find today. So stay tuned out there. And I put out a challenge. The market has been very good here, obviously, during this trial period. I'm still offering 2 free weeks, by the way, through the month of January at GundersonCapital.com. And I put out a challenge. I said, if you haven't made any money in this last couple of weeks, during your 2 weeks of Gunderson's free trial, I want to know about it. Nobody has responded, so I guess that's good news. No news is good news. But it has been a very, very strong period in the market. You've pretty much got to see my whole hand here. I've laid it all out on the table for you. What is currently in my ultra growth portfolio, which is about 23 stocks. That thing, the buy and hold one since January 1st of last year, is up 45%. It's just absolutely cooking. And the premier growth is up about the same, the buy and hold model of that. So if you haven't got your 2-week trial yet for free, this is the first time I've ever offered my full access to my Best Stocks Now app, which is a revolutionary and potent, powerful app. So it's a ranking formula that I use, ranking stocks based on valuation and momentum. Man, it's turned up a lot of winners. I can't think of a better testament than me being listed in the top 4.8% of all bloggers out there in the market. That's over 7,000 people that are tracked on tipranks.com. So go to the website. You get the live alerts and my newsletter, the Full Monty, all 4 portfolios. Go to GundersonCapital.com. We've heard from folks all over the world getting in on this free trial. Okay, BVXV out of Israel is an Israeli-based developer of immunomodulation therapies to treat infectious diseases, including influenza. Well, what makes them different from any of the other flu vaccine companies? They're trying to come up with a universal vaccine that doesn't have to be reformulated every year. The vaccine market is several $billion But if they could come up with a universal influenza vaccine, that would be quite a breakthrough in helping maybe eradicate. Well, you know what? I've seen some diseases eradicated during my period of time on this earth. One day I was out with my father, and my father was a great artist, and he was painting away on his Marlboro billboard. We had a big easel there in San Diego that he would paint these giant Marlboro billboards and ship them all over the country. And this couple stopped by to see us. They were out for a bike ride not too far from La Jolla, and it was Jonas Salk. And he stopped and talked with my dad. I talked with him. Of course, he was the inventor of the polio vaccine. He was with his wife, who used to be the mistress of Pablo Picasso, hence the interest in art. My dad was no Picasso. The cowboy's hat was not on his arm, and his hand was not coming out of, another part of he had to put it all together. It was photorealism that we did, whereas Picasso had a little more freedom there. But anyways, hopefully, maybe this Israeli company, BVXV. Look at this chart today. It's up 12% today. It was up 12% yesterday. I own a little bit. It's one of those ones you got down in your deep recesses of a drawer somewhere that you bought a long time ago and you don't know what happened to it. Well, you know what? Maybe they're the ones to eradicate the flu. That would be wonderful. BVXV is an $80 million speculative. It's not a penny stock. It's $12.45. They went public in 2015. And maybe you've heard that come up from time to time that they're hoping to eradicate the flu with a worldwide vaccine, a universal vaccine for the flu. We'll make that the featured stock of the day. High risk. I mean, that's kind of like going to the gas station and buying a lottery ticket, But we'll see. I'm certainly rooting for this little biotech company. It certainly has a lot of momentum right now. It's got an A+ momentum grade in the Best Stocks Now app. And don't forget, you know what? If you don't have time to put on the duck waders every day and grab the fly fishing pole and the Polaroids and get out there on the water fishing from dawn to dusk, that's what I do for a living, and I love every minute of it. And I have quite a team that assists me in this effort. And we manage portfolios. I have a little bit of an advantage over the average person that's trying to manage their own portfolio. It's time-consuming. And, things can change very, very rapidly, and you've got to be ready to react when that happens. And the other advantage I have, most people in my industry have gone to just a passive, computer-driven asset allocation spit out of a stinking computer and coming out on a nice color printer. Oh, it looks beautiful. But in the end, it's plain vanilla. Yeah, you know what? I want to be in the Best Stocks Now, darn it. You can give us a call, 855-611. Oh, by the way, we're headed to Sarasota. I'll talk about that tomorrow. This is Bill Gunderson. It's the Best Stocks Now Radio Hour. Have a great day, everybody.
This show is not a solicitation to buy or sell any securities. Bill Gunderson or clients of Gunderson Capital Management may have long or short positions in stocks mentioned during the show. Gunderson Capital Management is a fee-based registered investment advisory firm. All accounts are held at Ameritrade. Ameritrade is a member of SIPC and FINRA.